All right, all right, all right.
All right. What could we be talking about?
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Let's Get Trashed episode. Who even is counting at this point? I have literally no idea. I just put out episode 25 last week.
Congrats, dude.
Not counting.
Well done.
Not counting my 3 trailer trash episodes. So total's been 28, but some of those trailer trash have come out on Mondays. It was originally going to be
They called you crazy. They said he'll never do more. He'll never do 25.
He'll never get a half year under his belt
doing podcasting.
Doing a free podcast with no fans and no ads and no money. There's no way he'll get that far.
You had one good boost though.
I know. We need to do another Indian movie.
I think that's what it was.
I might pivot to full-time Indian film stuff.
It's what the people want.
People love that RRR review, and it got comments and engagement and stuff like that. So I do want to do another one. We were recommended a lot of really cool movies. I just need to sit down and figure out which one I want to watch because they all seem pretty long.
Are they all long like that?
I don't know. No.
Okay.
Obviously, not every movie is going to be long, but some of the ones I was recommended look long.
Yeah.
But I'll have to do more research. I've just been very lazy. Anyways,
I want to watch the Tom Hanks version. I'm so serious.
No,
would you not watch it?
You don't mean the Tom Hanks version. You mean
you want Forrest Gump?
You want to watch the Indian version of Forrest Gump?
Yes, you knew what I meant.
Yeah,
because you're my friend.
You called it the Tom Hanks version. You did the exact opposite of what it is.
Yes. Yeah.
That actually, yeah, sure. That actually might be a good one. Because then we can wrap that in with a Forrest Gump discussion. And talk about how that movie's not that good.
Yeah.
But speaking of me being lazy and not going through my comments, we're talking about The Beach Bum.
Yep.
Harmony Korine, which it's a dude. I just found that out.
That is a dude's name.
Harmony Korine directed The Beach Bum, starring Matthew McConaughey.
Yep.
Snoop Doggie Dogg.
Isla Fisher.
Is it Isla or Isla?
I have no idea.
Yeah, Isla Fisher. That makes more sense. And even featuring some cameos from Jimmy Buffett and
Zac Efron.
Zac Efron. Yeah, that's right. I had to look up who that was.
Zachy boy. Anyone else? I think that's it. Cameo.
The daughter was a. She's a new actress. This was her first film, the one that plays the daughter. So I don't remember her name, Jenny or Riza or something like that.
Okay.
All right. The Beach Bum, 2019 film. This came out a couple years ago. I don't think I even heard about it. But this was one that you recommended to me.
Yeah, I thought it looked kind of interesting. I'm kind of a fan of Matthew McConaughey because he's such a character. Honestly, I don't know. I just think he's really funny. And this seemed like an interesting role for him. I was like, I wonder what he might do here.
Interesting.
Hot take.
Well, I mean,
I just thought
it's the opposite of a hot take.
Well, I just thought it looked interesting.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll just say that.
Sure.
Like, this looks cool.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be like a different kind of movie. You know?
It certainly is.
Yeah.
It is. And I'll say right off the bat, what I disagree with the fact that, I mean, for me, McConaughey playing this role is expected.
The beach bum guy?
Yeah, playing the role of Moondog.
Yeah.
The beach alcoholic poet who sleeps in the sand or sleeps around and smokes weed every day and is always drinking and partying and living this hedonistic life. I found that to be honest. I like this movie, I think, in general.
Yeah.
My biggest kind of criticism, one thing I think would make this movie better is if we recasted almost everybody.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because Matthew McConaughey as a dude who loves to smoke weed and talks in funny kind of poetry and is a very chill guy who sleeps on a boat and sleeps around and whatever. It's like, we get it. You wrote it for this like caricature of McConaughey that he likes to play of himself kind of anyways.
Okay.
You know,
just in funnier clothing.
Yeah, McConaughey already, and I don't think he's not genuinely like this, but he presents himself as like
a whiskey chill guy.
Yeah, he presents himself as this what am I trying to think of? This like
this artist type? Maybe?
Yeah.
Sure. Is that what you mean?
This vagabond artist.
Yeah.
Because I think he's done this movie before. He's been this character before. Obviously, famously was this character in Dazed and Confused of like not necessarily the artistic part, but like the chill, let it all, the Zen,
let it hang.
Yeah, the Zen master marijuana smoker guy. And again, honestly, I don't know what it is about that particular archetype that sticks with an actor. Because to be totally honest, after The Big Lebowski, Jeff Bridges stayed that kind of guy.
Oh, interesting.
Jeff Bridges is kind of like a Zen, like...
played it really well.
Well, yeah, he played it really well,
yeah.
But then he loved it so much, he like made it his real life personality. Which he's
kind of funny.
Jeff Bridges is like still a better actor, and he does like... He's a better actor than McConaughey, I think, and he does better stuff. He does more varied performances.
Yep.
But if you see him in an interview now, he's very much like, he talks about Zen stuff, and he even talks about how like that character of the dude kind of influenced him to like
be chill.
Yeah, just to relax a little bit and stuff like that. And whatever, you can take...
I hate actors.
I know, dude. I hate them.
Hate
They're
them so much.
Oh my god, dude.
I can't stand actors.
It sucks so much. They're empty vessels, and you just fill them with the little tiniest bit of something, and they'll hold on to it the rest of their life. I was trying to be so gracious and nice about Jeff Bridges, who I like as an actor, but god damn it, dude, shut the fuck up. He talks about how playing the dude influenced him, and now he's like chill and he loves weed, and he's
I like weed.
Yeah. Same thing. McConaughey is an even worse example of that, because whatever weed like chill guy he's been before, he now does that, and that's like his. That's so this casting McConaughey in this role is like, it's almost cliche or it's so expected. Like, it's almost like it's written for him. Like, he's
probably kind of is.
He's smoking weed. He's playing a djembe on his boat with a fucking with a boa constrictor, like, or a yellow, whatever the fucking yellow snake is, with a yellow snake just like curving around and being on the drum and being on around his neck.
I'm so chill.
Yeah, he's wearing. Well, we'll talk about what he's wearing in a second. But yeah, it's just so expected. And then his best friend, Lingerie Doggie Dog, played by Snoop Doggie Dog. Again, it's like we need these characters. We need a black guy who's chill and smokes weed. Well, I guess we can get Snoop Dogg for that, rather than like an actual actor or anything like that. Let's get McConaughey's real life friend, who is also acts exactly like this. Is just a dude that smokes weed but also has a lot of money.
And then throw Jimmy Buffett in there.
Yeah, and then Jimmy Buffett gets to just hang out a couple times. He's only in a few scenes, but it's like, McConaughey's playing like a parrot. McConaughey's playing like a pothead parrot head. And it's like, would this kind of guy love Jimmy Buffett? Of course he would. A guy that lives in the Florida Keys and lives on the beach all day and wears a captain's hat. Of course he loves Jimmy Buffett. Let's put Jimmy Buffett in the movie, and then we don't even have to pretend like there's something else going on. He can just hang out with Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
I read just right before we recorded this podcast, I read, or before you got here, I read trivia, IMDb trivia, just to learn a little bit about, the behind the scenes of this film. Because I'm trying to think of who in my mind would be better versions of all these characters, because there is a better version of every single one who's like a better actor or a less expected actor, where we might actually get a really less cartoonish performance. And they originally offered the part of Moondog. They offered McConaughey's part to Gary Oldman. And if Gary Oldman had said yes, it would have been 1,000 times better.
Yeah, I mean, he's Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
He would have been insanely.
Did they say why he didn't do it?
No, it just says he turned it down. But Gary Oldman as this character, as this beach bum poet, Moondog, would have been insanely so much better. And don't get me wrong, McConaughey did a good job. McConaughey's good in this film, but it's expected. There's not a lot of nuance or not a lot of depth to what's going on, to be totally frank. It's very
it's almost like an adventure film, almost, but not quite.
No, I don't know.
I mean, it calls itself a stoner comedy. It's not much of a comedy.
I mean,
it's almost like it's not. It doesn't have a lot of like. It's just like an experience almost.
Right. It's basically. I don't know. It feels like which I think this happens to potheads. Several things happen in this movie. Yeah. But it feels like a movie where nothing happens. Yeah. But we actually do have some stuff, and we'll do a demarcation of like spoiler. We'll get into spoilers in a little bit. Yeah. So let's, before we even get to like what actually happens in our
what moves it along.
Yeah. Our rising action and all that kind of stuff. Let's stick around with we'll stay in the very beginning, talk about kind of vibes. But anyway, McConaughey plays Moondog, a famous poet. Somehow poetry, in whatever universe this takes place in, he made a ton of money and got famous doing poetry in the 80s and 90s. Yeah. And now it's the 2000s and he lives on a beach and everybody knows him and loves him. Mm-hmm. So, whatever fucking universe that is, this happened. And he took his poetry.
He can just fuck off on the beach with unlimited monies.
Yeah, he took his poetry money and became a beach bum. He also is married. He doesn't have unlimited poetry money, but he does have unlimited money because he's married to Isla Fisher, who they never explain what her
job is or what she does.
Yeah, but she's like $100 millionaire. Yeah, she has $100 million. Yeah, in a huge mansion, and she loves Matthew McConaughey. They have a open relationship, it seems.
Calls him a dimensional being.
Yeah, she just loves
really him. Fallen for this guy.
Yeah, I mean, they have a kid together. They've been married for quite a long time. It's a lengthy relationship, and it does feel kind of lived in. We talk about, we in the film critic community talk about these universes or these environments we see in film and whether they feel lived in or not, or whether it feels like an authentic actual place, or whether we're just watching a film of a thing that doesn't ring as true. And it genuinely does kind of, their relationship anyway kind of feels, whatever the equivalent of lived in is, it does feel authentic, despite the fact that they're cheating on each other, but they both kind of know, but they don't care. It's very bohemian. Yep. But they admit that they actually only just love each other, and they're fine with being these weird hippies, I guess is the easiest way to just narrow it down to one word.
Yeah, pretty much.
But she's cheating on him with their best friend, like their family best friend, Lingerie, who I guess he's a rapper. What is his? How did they explain that Lingerie Doggie Dogg made his?
I mean, we know he makes his money off weed, at least as one revenue stream, but we don't know if it's also because of music either. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
He might just be like a drug lord.
Maybe.
Of some sort.
It didn't seem that sinister. It seemed like...
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows? We don't know why. We don't know where Snoop Dogg's character gets his money, but he has plenty of money too.
Yeah.
So, and they're all friends, and it's all very, incestuous, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's what we see, and we see the movie starting, and McConaughey's a drunk and a pothead, and he's just low energy, and he's hanging out, and he's reciting poetry. Anytime I see somebody reciting poetry,
shoot him in the face.
Well, in real life, but in movies, especially reciting poetry like in a bar, like he did, I'm immediately he gets invited on stage by whatever musician is like, why don't you recite a poem in between my songs? I always think of Cocktail.
Oh, I don't know that one.
You never saw Cocktail?
I don't think so.
With Tom Cruise?
No, I do want to watch that though.
He's a bartender.
Okay.
And it's in the 80s in New York. They're at some industrial nightclub that's like humongous, like 5 stories up, and everybody's on these balconies looking down.
Like in poetry?
Well, and then the thing is, the bartenders can, at any time, the bartenders in Cocktail, they can stop the music. Everybody's dancing and doing drugs, and it's the 80s. Everybody's dancing and doing drugs, but the bartender can just stop the music. He stands up on the bar and recites a poem about alcohol, usually, and then everybody fucking, all these yuppies in like suits, and they all start cheering because this bartender is so cool. And then Tom Cruise is living like this incredible bartender life. It's insanely dumb.
Yeah, that seems really dumb.
Yeah, it's very like 80s. It's just, you can do whatever you want with Tom Cruise back in the day.
Yeah.
And also you still can now because he's
sucks.
the best. What?
Poetry sucks.
Oh, I thought you said Tom Cruise sucks and we were about to fight. Anyway, yeah, so McConaughey reciting poetry makes me think of Cocktail.
Sure.
Cocktail also has a scene. He gets burned out of New York. He gets like run out of New York, and he has to go. So he moves down to the Virgin Islands or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe even Jamaica, and he's a beach bartender now. So that was a whole thing.
Oh.
Before he goes back to conquer New York again.
With poetry?
I don't think he does any poetry on the beach in New York. And I don't think he does any Virgin Islands poetry.
Yeah, I felt like this was probably in McConaughey's head, like, oh, this will be an interesting acting experience. Like, I'll be able to play this very, like, aloof character, because there are qualities of that probably McConaughey portrays, but he has some other stuff, too, in my mind. Like, I'm thinking of, like, Interstellar, right, or some other things.
Never saw it. I mean, his best thing he ever did is True Detective Season 1.
True Detective is really good.
True Detective Season 1 is great, and he's incredible in it. That's what brought him back, because he sucked all through the 90s. He sucked.
Yeah, he was doing rom-coms
with fucking Kate Hudson and whatever J-Lo, but he's doing these.
Sahara.
I never saw Sahara.
It's very funny.
Oh, is that the one
where he's tan and in a go-kart?
Is he hunting for treasure?
Doing boogies or something? I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, McConaughey was in dog shit. Women, this is your fault. Y'all ruined his fucking career for 15 years, making him be...
Women strike again.
Women offered him $15 million a movie to be in the worst, most boring dog shit rom-coms, and then he forgot he was gonna that's why he was like gonna... True Detective brought him back to life, and he was like, oh shit, I forgot I actually know how to act. And guess what? I also forgot you knew how to act. Mm-hmm. So, and then he started doing other good shit after that, like Dallas Buyers Club, and he started he doesn't do rom-coms anymore. He only takes films where he thinks he can be artistic.
Yep.
So good for him. Again, he was good in this. He's good in this because it's exactly like it's exactly like who you think you would hire for a film like this, but it's just too on the nose.
Okay.
Him doing it is just kind of, and McConaughey is so...
Well, it's a lot of him doing the character or really driving the character home, because it's that the whole movie. Because it's like, okay, we get it. He's like an aloof thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It felt a little drug out for me.
And he's doing that very cliche, like, drunken, you know, Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, I don't know why when you get drunk you have to prance around. Which of course Johnny Depp and McConaughey's doing Johnny Depp in Pirates. Johnny Depp is of course doing he's doing Peter O'Toole in My Favorite Year, which this is gonna cause this is gonna get me a text message, but
Peter O'Toole, Favorite Year. I've never seen it.
Yeah, it sucks.
Great.
It's a movie my dad really likes, and he's like mentioned it to me a bunch of times and asked me if I would watch it or talk to me about it over the years. I've heard him mention it over the years, and I just never saw it. And I finally, it's on HBO Max, and I sat down and watched it, and I hated it. So this will give me a text from my dad, but I have no reason to like it. My dad would like it for nostalgic reasons because it's about like, it's basically about like the Sid, you know, those 50s variety shows. You know, Sid Caesar and whatever else. So my dad grew up around that, and that stuff means something to him. It could have been better. It was a completely unfunny. Like the main character is not Peter O'Toole. The main character is some kid, and he sucks. He's so boring. There's not
Peter O'Toole.
Yeah, there's not like a good joke in any of it.
Yeah.
And then Peter O'Toole plays he's like a drunken actor who has to do a skit at the end of the week.
Okay.
So it's actually it's like a week in the life.
Okay.
Which I do kind of like. I like that. I like that concept. But this like very broad performance of like a drunken, you know, he starts shouting, and he's always like he's very flowy.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is the flowy hand, you know, limp-wristed drunk, like, oh, I love the bird. You know, it's
the Arthur, the original Arthur. Similar?
No.
I love that movie.
It's a great movie. It's my favorite movie.
But he's very like drunk.
Yes, he's very. That's a great performance of a drunk.
Yeah.
That's incredible. He fixed the drunken performance
from that
from My Favorite Year, from Peter O'Toole in I guess it was the 70s when this came out, maybe the 60s. He fixed that kind of like piratey drunk performance. Dudley Moore as Arthur is great, as Arthur Bach. That's an incredible
really
drunk
good movie.
performance. Yeah, it's my favorite movie. It's the funniest movie. So that's such a better kind of performance of it, but this is too dancey and too flowy, and this is too much like Peter O'Toole being a comedically drunk character.
Sure,
but it just none of it lands. I don't
see it as a comedy.
No,
I don't think I really laughed.
Did it make?
There were some moments. You don't know who Zac Efron is?
I do know who Zac Efron is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's some moments that he had that I thought were pretty funny.
Well, so let's get into the we'll get into spoilers in just a second. So it starts off, he's on the beach. His wife, Isla Fisher, calls him back to the mansion because their daughter's getting married, and they don't want him to miss the wedding. So he has to go back to Miami from Key West.
Dude,
he's got to go back to Miami. He's got to be there in time for the wedding. So he's back, reunites with his wife. They have a great time. All this kind of stuff. It's just leading up to the wedding. The daughter's marrying somebody he doesn't like, but that's not that big of a deal. Anyway, after the wedding, they're all partying. We see these like really kind of special moments. Now we're getting into spoilers, folks. So if you don't want to hear spoilers. If you don't want to hear spoilers, skip to 48 minutes and 16 seconds. And then we won't have spoilers after that.
Boom.
And I'll try to overdub the vocals there. Anyway, so they're partying. He's sharing.
But he does show up at the wedding with a lady in a wheelchair, and just
just
pushes that lady into a wall.
Just pushes her, in front of everybody, like in front of the reception or the ceremony.
Which is funnier to think about. It for some reason wasn't funny to me in the moment. I was like, "What the fuck." Like, it kind of caught me off guard. I was like, what the?
They didn't set it up. They
didn't really set it up.
It was
well.
already done by the time you even realized it was kind of happening.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I thought there was a moment that made me laugh, but I can't really think. I can't find it in my notes, so maybe there wasn't. But anyway, him and his wife have these tender moments. They're high and drunk off their asses, and they're driving around. She's driving, and then they get into a head-on collision.
Oh yeah.
So they get into a head-on collision, and Isla Fisher dies. The wife dies. Yep. Which is
and right before she dies, she says, "You're such a fuck up."
Yeah.
Which is kind of anti everything about her character and how she feels about him up until she says that.
No,
which is kind of weird.
Well, no, not necessarily. I can see where you would think that because she does love him and she like accepts him, but she is very aware that like she spends the entire beginning part of the movie worried that he won't be at the wedding on time.
That's true.
She's well aware of his like problem. She's
proclivities.
She's possibly the most realistic character in the movie.
Yeah,
because she likes to party and have fun, and she loves and respects her
but also wants to get to the wedding on time.
Yeah, she respects her husband and his artistic genius. Yeah. And she leaves space for that, I guess. But she also understands that there's like a real life that you have to get places. But anyway, so she dies. Should be this monumental event that the movie handles very like, it's almost like it doesn't matter. First of all, you almost don't realize that she dies because she says something very coherently, like her last words.
Yeah.
Those are her last words. You fucked up.
You're such a fuck up.
You're such a fuck up. But she says it like endearingly, kind of.
And then beep.
Yeah. We don't get the beep. It's just like, I thought she just fell asleep. I thought she was going to be fine. But the next scene, they're at the funeral.
Yeah.
And then him and his
smoking a joint.
Yeah, him and his daughter are smoking weed at the funeral. Like the daughter's part of it too. She grew up in this weird relationship.
Yeah, weird family.
And it should be this like monumental thing, but it's over in a second, and you almost don't feel any consequences of it until later on. It's revealed that her will, Miss $100 million Isla Fisher, she gives half of it in her will. Half of it goes to the daughter. $50 million goes to the daughter. The other 50 goes to her husband Moondog, except he can't unlock any of it until he publishes his next book.
It's frozen in escrow.
Yeah, it's in escrow. He's got to publish his poetry book until before a new book of poems before he can get $50 million. And I got to be totally honest with you, that's very doable because poetry
is bullshit.
I don't know if you know this about poetry, folks, but it doesn't have to rhyme anymore.
No.
All right, you can just do whatever the fuck you want and call it poetry. This woman that reads poems at like the presidential inauguration, her poems all suck and none of them fucking rhyme. There's these shitty Japanese poems that don't have to rhyme at all. It's just
haikus. Fuck them.
Haikus. These shitty ass poems from Japan that mean nothing to nobody. So
it's con man's game.
You tell me I got to publish a poetry book for $50 million, baby girl. I'll have poetry on your desk in 4 hours. Also,
a novel could be anything. So
well, it's not a novel. That's
she does say novel.
No,
in the movie.
The estate lawyer says novel.
Okay.
The estate lawyer says you have to publish a novel. He's like, I don't write novels, you bitch.
I write poetry. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I'm a poetry artist.
Sure.
And he goes like, whatever. I don't know. Whatever kind of book it is.
Well, he could have already just been like, well, just here, take what I have and make it a book. You know,
100%.
Publish the shit. I don't know if I can do. Yeah.
Yeah, he could have absolutely.
I would have done that.
I mean, so it's all based on
bullshit.
It's all based on his artistic integrity, not to just dump a bunch of which I guess is true. He doesn't care as much about the money as he does.
That's true.
Living his life, he is kind of a genuine artistic guy. Yeah, because he doesn't do what I would do, which is just publish any kind of bullshit and call it poetry, and then
get that paycheck,
and then get that paper, get
that sweet bag.
So and anyway, so now he's just like, but he gets extra drunk. He breaks into his own house that he's not allowed to access because it's frozen. It's a frozen asset that he can't have access to.
Yeah.
Throws a big party. He gets arrested, and he gets sentenced to a year in a rehab facility.
Yeah.
A year in some rehab facility, and at this rehab facility is where he meets our next character, who could have been played by somebody better. is
Andy Serkis.
Stop saying Andy Serkis.
I can't. He works for every role. He can CGI any role.
No, because you need somebody young, and Andy Serkis is an adult.
He could play a younger, and they can CGI whoever you want.
I mean, I'm getting mad at you for saying Andy Serkis on every episode, but you're about to get mad at me when I say Zac Efron's part would have been played much better.
Timothy?
Nope. No,
Who?
come on.
Who are you gonna say?
B. Pat. Robert Pattinson.
Oh.
Bobby Patty.
Yeah. He would have done the same thing Efron did.
No. He would have been much better. It would have been much more like.
Yeah.
It would have been a much more authentic performance. Because this is Efron trying to be Robert Pattinson. This is Zac Efron trying to be like, I can also play weird, uncomfortable, aggressive characters.
Yeah. He kind of does that in roles, I feel like.
I don't know. What else has Zac Efron been in?
I mean,
since he's been a kid, I never saw any of his. I think this might be the first.
Maybe
Zac
I
Efron,
saw that movie with Adam Devine. I don't even remember what it was called.
We Need Dates for Our Wedding.
Something like that.
With Aubrey Plaza.
I
never saw that, but I know
and then he's in that one movie.
But that's a comedy. Wasn't that him and Dave Franco?
Well, maybe a better example would be the one Neighbors with Seth Rogen.
That's a comedy where he's like a frat boy.
Yeah.
He's like a mean frat guy.
I'm just saying he has like a comedic intelligence about him. I think he knows what he's doing.
Right, I think he can be like a silly comedy.
He's he's like, I'm going to be the intense vape guy, you know.
That's sure, but that's what I mean. That's not what this was.
Okay.
You know, he plays this damaged, like, again, this wasn't very funny. He plays this damaged character who's
pastor's son
in rehab. Yeah, dealing with like his religious upbringing and all that kind of morality and stuff. And then when he gets drunk enough, even though when he's sober, he's like, fuck my religion, all that kind of stuff. But once he gets drunk enough, he starts talking about like
religion.
He starts bringing up Jesus and all that kind of stuff.
Jesus already died for our sins after he hit that guy with a bat.
Yeah.
The thing is, we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, Jesus already paid for it. So let's go get some.
Yeah.
And Robert Pattinson would have been much better at that.
Yeah.
Zac Efron is just too like lighthearted. He just can't.
Oh, get into the darky.
I just don't believe him as a dude that.
Yeah, would hit someone with a bat.
Yeah, that does anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
So again, I think he was okay in it. That's the thing is everybody's
okay.
Everybody's okay, but it's so kind of on the surface. The performances are very like expected / trying too hard.
Mm-hmm.
That I think better actors, Gary Oldman, Robert Pattinson, and who can we replace Snoop Dogg with?
Snoop Dogg. With like not a rapper, maybe like an actor or anybody.
Kid Cudi.
That would have been chill.
Kid Cudi.
That would have been fun.
So I'll even still let him be a rapper.
Yeah.
We'll keep it in the rap community. The rap actor community. Kid Cudi would have been much better.
That would have been tight.
As lingerie, as the rich black friend.
Yeah.
And of course, probably plenty of other actors I'm just like spacing on right now. But I saw X recently, and so I know I've got in the Pearl trailer, so I've got Kid Cudi at the forefront of my mind.
Yeah, I think that could work.
I think they would have given less cartoonish performances throughout. I think they would have tried harder to make the material more relatable and more connectable. Rather than McConaughey took this because he wants to be this cartoon character of a take it easy party guy type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, so he has this little adventure with Zac Efron.
Well, so he's sentenced to a year in rehab. He breaks out after a day. However long. Him and Zac Efron break out, and then they steal a boat. They go down to the Keys again.
Beat the shit out of a guy.
They push a guy into the water on his wedding day. That's pretty funny.
Oh, the tuba guy, they push into the water.
Oh, the tuba guy was funny. That was at the very beginning.
That
was the very beginning. He pushes a sousaphone player into the water. And then when they're escaping,
it goes boom.
when they, when they're
It's funny thinking back on it. That's what's weird. Like thinking back on the moments, it's like that's actually kind of funny.
The stuff is funny.
Yeah.
It's just that again, I think funnier.
It doesn't make. I don't know if it's the tone, like during the movie, or like what it is. It doesn't really like.
They didn't pick a tone and stick.
Yeah.
Because it was again, it's what happens if you're high. It's just like. Everything's muted. Your highs are lower and your lows are higher.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's like
it's just right here.
Yeah. It's like putting compression on an audio
on your
file.
life.
It's just all kind of right there, and you don't get those peaks or those valleys. So the stuff that ostensibly should be funny, like Zac Efron. There's two people, a man and woman, that they just got married and they're taking like their wedding in her white dress photo.
Yeah.
Right on the pier with the water in the background. Zac Efron just walks up to the guy and punches him in the face and knocks him into the water, and then
that's very funny.
They steal the boat, and then they just race off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very funny, but it wasn't done funny.
It wasn't done funny though, because there are things that should have. The funniest probably was Martin Lawrence, which is a good segue to the next section of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, like his obsession with dolphins or whatever.
Yeah, Martin Lawrence was the funniest.
And
part.
I was so stoked to see him in a movie.
He hasn't been in a movie since 2011.
Yeah, he killed it.
Yeah.
I thought he was actually really good.
He was great. And
his whole character thing.
And he was great as not like the typical Martin Lawrence that we always see. He was more... He was a eccentric kind of weird guy.
Yeah.
But he wasn't like... He wasn't Blue Streak Martin Lawrence. He wasn't Big Mama's House. He wasn't like what we think of when we think of Martin Lawrence. He was doing something different. He was great.
Yeah, he was really
so it's
good.
great to see him again. Welcome back, Martin Lawrence.
He's back.
It's so good to see you, doggy. But yeah, so now Moondog McConaughey is on the run. So he takes a job. He takes a job working on a dolphin cruise with Martin Lawrence, who is also a drunk and a drug addict or whatever his problem is.
Just a keys guy.
Yeah, but this is just an event.
Hustling people for money.
Yeah, and this is just another event that just kind of means nothing. It's very...
Yeah. I think they were trying to introduce some adventure onto his arc of like trying to write his book or his, poetry book that he needs to publish. So they're just throwing in some adventure elements into that journey.
Yeah, it's a bunch of things that like just don't connect. We have this little Martin Lawrence chunk, and it means nothing to the movie before it, and it means nothing to the movie after.
Same thing with Zac Efron, essentially.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Just a little adventure. They gave one to him. They gave one to Martin Lawrence. A little adventure. And what happens after that?
After the Martin Lawrence thing, which we won't even spoil that. It's pretty funny. It's honestly kind of worth watching just to see Martin Lawrence come back. And he's great as the dolphin captain. But anyway, after that, he just goes back to Miami to knock on Snoop Dogg's door. Yeah. And now he's
and then they just party with Jimmy Buffett and Snoop Dogg.
Now they're partying on a boat. Jimmy Buffett's back, and he's partying with Jimmy Buffett and Snoop Dogg on the boat. And then he's hanging out at Snoop Dogg's mansion until the cops come.
Then he has to go to Jamaica?
He escapes. No, I think he goes back to the Keys.
Oh, yeah.
I think I think they get in the seaplane.
With the blind pilot?
Yeah, with the blind pilot.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to the Keys, and he's back there hanging out again. So he just goes back to the Florida Keys like 3 times.
Yeah.
Whatever, Key West, I guess it is, or whichever key. Yeah. And then he finishes his book, turns it into The Lawyer. Nobody's mad that nobody even questions him that he broke out of
court-appointed rehab.
Yeah, he broke out of state-appointed
Killed
rehab.
a guy in a wheelchair, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean,
assault. Yeah, committed a bunch of crimes. Assaulted the guy on the wheelchair rascal thing.
Yeah,
for money. And then, once he finishes his book, it's all good.
He wins a Pulitzer.
Does he?
Yeah.
Did they say that?
Yeah.
I missed that.
His agent Jonah Hill, who we didn't even really mention.
We didn't mention, but I did like him. He does a funny. He was Jonah Hill's very funny in this. He does a good Southern accent.
Yeah, he's doing like a Creole kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good Southern accent, but it's a very funny Southern accent.
Yeah.
So I liked it.
Yeah. So essentially, I mean, because his daughter was like, I can't help you. I'm not going to give you any money. This is your journey. You have to figure your shit out. He doesn't figure anything out.
That's another thing I don't like
of his hero's journey.
There's no arc at all.
There's really no arc. The only thing that changes is he starts to wear women's clothing, and he finishes his novel and gets his money, but he doesn't like learn anything.
No, and
he's still kind of just a drunk.
And don't forget, we're in spoilers, folks.
Yeah, this is spoiler season.
So he ends up lighting all the money on fire anyways.
That made no sense to me.
Well, again, it's trying too hard
to
present him as this bohemian character.
I don't buy it.
Who truly is free of the. He's free of the confine. He's free of the shackles of consumerism, like the rest of us.
Begging his daughter for money.
Yeah, he clearly
needs money for his habits.
Yeah, he gets it all. He gets everything liquidated. He wants all of his money in cash on a boat. It's
on a sailboat.
It's sailed down to the Keys. He gets super drunk and throws a fireworks party, a fireworks show. Everybody's watching it. He grabs a flare gun to try to participate in his own fireworks while he's intoxicated, and he flare guns, or maybe it's a Roman candle.
Yeah, something like that.
He flare guns this
pile of money on the boat.
These boxes of these saran wrap cubes of money.
Some of it.
Does he?
I think on the rowboat.
He ends up on a rowboat. Does he have any money?
I think so.
Okay, maybe he has some. He doesn't have $50 million.
Fuck that. That pissed me off.
Or 45, 50 minus a sailboat, whatever it was. So it's, but again, and it presents it as like, oh, there he goes. That's the Moondog we all know and love.
For what?
But it's like there's no point to this.
It's not even it's not like about a real person. It's like about an imaginary artist. So what do we take away from that? I don't know. Just a story, I guess.
Yeah,
there's no real like takeaway.
I don't know. The takeaway could be like, this is how you should, this is how you should be. You should be like, you should allow yourself to free yourself from the confines of capitalism and live this bohemian life and focus on art and focus on having fun and experiences and don't worry about all this kind of stuff. But
I guess
it's easy to do if you have $50 million waiting for you.
Yeah. That's true.
That he also just lights on fire, and he lights on fire, and his boat literally floats off into the sunset.
His boat's fucked.
So, what's going to happen when he wakes up tomorrow? And he's like, "Well, now I also have no money again."
You're not. I mean, he's probably getting money from his books and stuff if he's really that fucking good. But
I don't know. They didn't tell us that.
Yeah.
I can't write this movie for him. I've already cast this movie for them.
I can't also write it and direct it. Yeah, the daughter shit was pretty weird too. It's like, damn, you must be so fucked up.
She was okay. She was. I mean, she wasn't in the movie a whole lot. She was kind of normal. She was very mean to her husband when she said he'd never be a great man like her father. And then at the end of the movie, we don't know how much time has passed. It seems like only a few days have passed, but clearly it's been quite a while.
Yeah,
because she is divorced at the end of the movie from this guy from Limp Dick that's
what they call
the mom and dad both don't like, and he's not even. There's nothing wrong with him. He's just a regular dude. He's just not
a psycho.
Yeah, he's not some psycho bohemian like drunken artist who. So because he's not that, they didn't approve
because he doesn't party.
Yeah, he's just a regular dude with some stupid haircut.
Yeah,
and whatever. He's wearing a vest. So I mean, yeah, he sucks. I also wouldn't like him, but I don't know. I certainly don't want my daughter to marry a guy like McConaughey.
Oh God.
If I had to pick between my daughters marrying Moondog or Lingerie or Limp Dick, I was like, the guy with the vest seems fine.
Yeah, he won't put her in any danger.
It's also not like she is. I didn't, the daughter's not writing any fucking poems. What? Just because your parents are both cool?
She's just rich.
You think you're some kind of something? Yeah. She sucks too. But whatever. Who knows? This idea of concept of like the bohemian artist who has to be untethered in order to be productive.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't buy it.
I don't really either. I mean,
I don't think that applies to either of us.
No, not necessarily. Not to any of the working class musicians and artists that we know, and we know quite a bit.
Yeah, and also I don't know, art, especially writing.
Yeah.
Whether it's songs or poetry, or you become a better writer as you have experiences.
Yeah.
But having the same, just like drunkenly having sex with a waitress all the time, or these kind of drunken escapades on the beach in this like no consequence life.
That's what it is too. No consequence.
Yeah, this inconsequential life is that's not where art comes from.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wants to be Hemingway on the beaches of Cuba, but that was after World War One.
Yeah, he was in the war.
You don't skip to beach Hemingway to be a writer.
Yeah.
He gets to be beach Hemingway because he was Farewell to Arms Hemingway. He was a medic in the fucking war, in the First World War. He was and then he got to live in Paris and all the Midnight in Paris-y shit, where he's hanging out with the artist community and stuff like that, and he's boxing and fighting and doing all this kind of stuff. And then he goes to Cuba and he gets to hang out there and all this kind of horse shit. But again, everyone has this romantic idea of like, I want to be Hemingway on the beach, but he can only write about that kind of stuff because he saw mustard gas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't.
Beauty hits different when you've been at war.
Yeah, it doesn't just come from the setting. You can't just be you can't just smoke weed all the time.
Well, even McConaughey's poem that he reads at like the Pulitzer thing, or the presumed Pulitzer,
whatever that prize thing was.
And I was inside you 2 times that day. The end. That bullshit ass poem, and everyone stands up and claps, and it's like, what? He's like, I just took a piss over in the alley and realized, I was inside you 2 times today, and that made me smile, or some bullshit like that. And I was like, what?
Yeah, his poem about having sex.
They should have kept his poetry mysterious, because I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah. Again, and it didn't rhyme.
And it didn't rhyme even,
which
guys.
Which is bad.
No rhyming. All
right. We're going to end the spoiler section here.
Cool.
So wherever this ends up being, that's where I'll
48 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it'll probably end up being like 45 because we have to cut a few off the top.
Nice.
All right. A couple last things before we get to recommendations. Talk about McConaughey's wardrobe throughout, especially at the beginning. Like we mentioned, he gets into starts wearing some like ladies' clothes as like a disguise.
Sure.
Which is kind of funny, I guess. But
it totally didn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It would be funny if they made it funny, but they just did it, and it doesn't land as a joke.
It looked similar to what he already wore. Like it kind of made sense.
Yep. Yeah. And now we're getting to Nick's fashion corner of the Let's Get Trashed.
Let's go.
Is that he's wearing, and this is a 2019 movie that I wasn't familiar with.
Yep.
But I've recently become aware of this trend of men's matching sets. So it's
tops and bottoms.
Yeah, shorts and shirts that are sold as matching sets of like patterned fabric.
Yep.
And that's marketed to men, and men are wearing this. So
you don't like it.
Now we're getting into the 1950s Let's Get Trashed corner, It fucking sucks, dude. Men should not be wearing this shit. But also, a dude like a bohemian beach bum, that's the name of the movie, a bohemian beach artist resident, he shouldn't be wearing the cutting edge of fashion men's matching sets from all these stupid, hipster fancy pants stores on South Congress.
Sure.
He shouldn't be wearing that anyways. He should be just wearing whatever. But
bullshit.
They're
Florida clothes.
Yeah, they're dressing him in expensive. The costume department is dressing him in these expensive, these expensive matched sets.
Sure.
That somebody who lives in Key West might wear. Either because they just have a ton of money and want to be super fashionable, or they're gay and are super fashionable.
Yeah.
But he's not like that. But the costume department, they didn't do a good job of getting into the character.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about what would the character wear. They're looking at the environment of the movie. What would somebody who lives in this environment, has a lot of money, wear?
Sure.
Or how do we make him look cool in this movie? We make him look cool by giving him this like new fashion trend of ridiculous men's clothes.
Uh-huh.
And but that character shouldn't be that kind of cool.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I thought I don't know. I didn't really think about that too much, but now that you're explaining it, I guess I can see that. But when they were like, you should do women's clothing, it'd be the perfect disguise. I'm like, you already dressed flashy and insane. And your hair, you look the same with your hair, like with the glasses, weird glasses that you wear. Like, you look exactly the same. I don't know.
You heard it,
not a huge gripe, but,
You heard it, ladies. Girls, you look flashy and insane in your clothing.
You look crazy.
You already look like a woman. You're all flashy and insane. All right. Do you recommend The Beach Bum to your friends and followers and fans?
I have been talking I've been talking a little bit of shit, but I would say it's fine. It's a fine movie. I'd probably recommend it to the right person.
Yeah.
I'm on the edge of my seat here. What are you gonna say?
I don't know. It's a tough one because I
wish it was funny.
I wish it was better. I wish it was either.
Because like I said, thinking back, it's like it is funny. Like there's things that happen that are funny.
There's things that should be funny, but I think it's executed kind of poorly.
Yeah.
Or rather, it's a tonal mess. They don't know how to. I guess the director Harmony Korine doesn't know how to make things funny. Whoever wrote this, which might even be him as well, whoever wrote this wrote some funny stuff, but it doesn't come across as funny because they're trying to keep it grounded or serious.
Yeah.
If they had just made it funny,
they should have just made it funny.
It would have been funny. Or just make it serious. Mm-hmm. And then when you commit these assaults and these robberies, and when you commit the litany of crimes that occur in this film, then when that happens, make it serious.
Yeah.
Make it
like, oh shit.
Make it a really negative thing.
Yeah.
And then you show his like descent into he had this laissez-faire, inconsequential, carefree life.
Yeah.
And now
doing crime for money.
Yeah, the money drops, and now he's like really doing bad shit. Have him go down that path for a while, and then he's like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. He has some sort of growth. He finishes his book,
mm-hmm.
and then he gets his money, and then he's have a bit of an arc, but it just sits there kind of too much.
Yeah.
If you love Matthew McConaughey and you think he's so charming and fun, and you just want to see him, dance around like a drunken pirate, again, Peter O'Toole or Johnny Depp, then go ahead and watch this. But I don't think the casting is too bad. The tone just doesn't make sense. I can't recommend this movie.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure when this will come up, but it'll definitely come out before the 29th. So, Jimmy, why don't you tell the folks where they can come see you live?
So, Creek in the Cave, my band Bad Thrillers, Instagram is Bad Thrillers TX. We'll be supporting our friend Colton. He's doing a comedy showcase with some of his friends, so we'll be a house band for them, mixing it up. And I think we might even have a little bit of a set towards the end there, so come check out some songs. And yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah, go to the Creek in the Cave.
September 29th. It's a Thursday.
On 7th Street here in Austin.
Yeah.
Support our friend Colton Dowling. I've only met her a couple times, but support the wonderful and great Rebecca Trent. They co-own that club together. I've been a big fan of Rebecca Trent for a really, really long time. She's wonderful. And then, yeah, just go see Bad Thrillers. I'm going to be all over the road. Don't come see me. I'm going to be in Colorado a couple times in October. And San Antonio, I'm all over the place. But anyway, follow me on Instagram at Nick Tazo, and then at Let's Get Trash Pod, and follow me on Twitter at Nick Tazo, and also Get Trashed Pod, and all that kind of stuff. Like and subscribe, please, and leave a comment. Tell somebody about it, and
tag your most drunk friend, your most alcoholic friend.
McConaughey lives in Austin. Why don't you get this in front of him?
Yeah, send it to McConaughey, you son of a bitch.
Send it to him, and then let him know that we're out here in the streets talking shit. All right, I'm tired of your shit, McConaughey.
Yeah.
All right, thanks everybody. Appreciate it. Let's get trashed.
Cheers.